There are approximately 10,000 cities in the world, but these are the top 20 most dangerous places on Earth. In these areas, people shoot others indiscriminately for fun. It's not wrong to say that in these places, Grand Theft Auto has become a reality. 1. Feira de Santana. Amidst the vibrant culture of South America lies Feira de Santana, a city with a stark contrast of beauty and danger. But what makes this Brazilian city so perilous? Feira de Santana, often cited as the most dangerous city in Brazil, is notorious for its high crime rates. With a population of over 619,000, the city witnessed a staggering homicide rate of 67.5 per 100,000 residents in 2022. This figure not only reflects the prevalence of homicides, but also underscores the city's struggles with assault, robbery, and theft scams. The situation in Feira de Santana is a complex tapestry of socio-economic challenges, where the allure of its location and the harsh reality of crime coexist. The city's struggle with violence is a reflection of broader issues that plague many urban areas in Brazil, where efforts to curb crime often grapple with deep-rooted problems. 2. St. Louis, Missouri. In the heart of St. Louis lies Peabody-Darst-Webb, a district notorious for its crime rate. But why is violence so rampant in this central area? Peabody-Darst-Webb, a neighborhood near the core of St. Louis, Missouri, is marked by a crime rate that is alarmingly 1,100% above the national average. This area, far from being a remote corner of the city, sits close to its vibrant center, yet it grapples with violence that far exceeds most American urban areas. Gang activity, particularly related to the illegal drug trade, is a significant contributor to the area's high crime rates. The resulting turf wars between rival gangs have tragic consequences, often catching innocent bystanders in the crossfire. In recent years, the community has witnessed harrowing incidents, such as the death of a young man who inadvertently became a victim of an armed assault and a 14-year-old boy killed on a sports field. These are not isolated events, but part of a disturbing trend that has seen St. Louis's crime rate surge by 40% over 3 years, a persistent issue since the mid-1990s. 3. Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro, a city of dazzling carnivals and joy, also harbors a dark side. But what lurks within the Complexo de Alamo? In the northern part of Rio de Janeiro lies the Complexo de Alamo, an area that starkly contrasts the city's festive reputation. Known for its favelas, this district is plagued by rampant criminal activity, where bandits rule and drug trafficking is commonplace. The residents, often caught in the crossfire of daily gang shootouts, have been forced to adapt to a life where stepping out unnecessarily is a risk they cannot afford. Despite the police's efforts to combat crime, including major operations that have resulted in significant casualties, such as the 719 people killed in June 2000 during an attempt to capture a gang leader, the cycle of violence persists. The police raids, like the ones in May 2021 and July 2020, which resulted in 28 and 219 deaths respectively, highlight the ongoing battle between law enforcement and criminal groups. 4. Scampia. Scampia, a suburb of Naples, once held promise, but now stands as a symbol of decay. What led to its transformation into a hub of crime? Scampia's descent into criminality is a tale of lost potential. In the 1980s, the suburb was envisioned as a haven with high-rise blocks, parks, and recreation areas for its residents. However, the Camorra, Naples' formidable criminal syndicate, claimed Scampia as its own, turning it into Europe's largest drug trafficking center. The Delaro clan, a dominant Camorra group, controlled the drug trade and was implicated in nearly all local crimes. A violent conflict in 2004 between the Delaro clan and a rival faction marked the beginning of a deadly era for Scampia's residents. The unemployment rate soared, leading to the rise of a new, troubling phenomenon: armed teenage gangs roaming the streets. 5. Tijuana. Tijuana's beauty is overshadowed by its title as the most violent city. Tijuana, a city with nearly 2 million residents, boasts stunning beaches and architecture, yet it's marred by a crime rate that casts a long shadow over its potential as a tourist haven. In the past year, the murder rate hit 105 per 100,000 population, with days where up to 6 individuals are killed. What drives this unrelenting crime wave? The districts of Camino Verde, Zona Norte, and Sanchez Taboada are particularly notorious, controlled by gangs deeply involved in drug and human trafficking, as well as contract killings. 6. Detroit. Once a booming motor city, Detroit now grapples with high crime rates. But how did this drastic change come about? Detroit's transformation from a bustling automotive hub to a city synonymous with crime and poverty is a stark reminder of urban vulnerability. The oil crisis of 1973 triggered a cascade of factory closures and a mass exodus, leaving behind ghostly districts and a dwindling population now under 600,000. The city's most perilous area, Fiscorn, sees a crime rate so high that 1 in every 8 residents falls victim to criminal acts, including robbery, murder, and rape. Despite the valiant efforts of the Detroit Police Department's 2nd Precinct, the sheer volume of crime overwhelms their capacity to maintain order. 7. Camalica, San Pedro Sula. Why does Camalican in San Pedro Sula suffer such extreme gang violence? Camalica district is embroiled in a relentless conflict between 2 notorious gangs, Mara Salvatrucha and Barrio 18. Their feud has turned the area into a battleground, with drug trafficking, kidnapping, and theft leading to the suffering of many, including the death of 52 journalists over 2 decades. The local population, having witnessed countless acts of violence, has grown despondent, expecting little intervention from authorities who seem to overlook the escalating crime. A brutal attack on a bus in 2004, which claimed 14 lives, exemplifies the ruthless nature of the crimes committed here. 8. Johannesburg. But what transformed Johannesburg's hillbrow from bustling to notorious? Johannesburg, a metropolis teeming with over 8 million people, harbors Hillbrow, a district that defies the city's lively pace with its notoriety for crime. The 1980s saw Hillbrow's population swell without corresponding job opportunities, leading to a mass departure of the middle class and the district's descent into slum conditions. Today, over 70,000 residents are crammed into an area barely spanning 1 kilometer, many living in poverty and turning to crime out of desperation. 9. Baltimore. Baltimore's Middle East District, once a quiet area with Czech-American families, has seen big changes. Long ago, people here lived calm lives and went to St. Wenceslaus Church. But in the 1960s, things started to shift. Young people from tough backgrounds moved in, and in 1968, big riots shook the city. After that, crime went up a lot, making Baltimore one of the most dangerous cities in the USA. Maryland's leaders have tried hard to make things better and fight the violence. They've had some success, but crime is still a big problem. Just last year, the crime rate dropped a little, by 3%, but still, 1 in 10 people in the city could be hurt by gang violence. 10. Natal. Natal, a city known for its tourism, hides a dark side in Felipe Camarão. This place, even with nice hotels, is very unsafe. Day or night, people might find themselves in the middle of gunfights between local gangs. In just 2 years, 160 people were killed here. Back in 2017, 2 gangs fought inside Al-Cacas prison, and 10 people died, some in very brutal ways. These stories show the real danger in Natal, much like the crime shown in the TV show The Wire about Baltimore's tough streets. 11. San Pedro Sula. What makes San Pedro Sula a city of such high crime rates? San Pedro Sula, called St. Peter's Valley, is a place with a big contrast. It's the second biggest city in Honduras, with over 700,000 people. It used to be famous for its old history and many sites. But now, it's known for crime and many deaths. It's often listed as one of the world's most dangerous cities. Last year, there were over 85 murders for every 100,000 people living there. That's scary, but a while back, it was even worse, with 171 murders per 100,000. People in San Pedro Sula can have up to 5 guns, which might be why over 80% of the victims were shot. The worst part of the city is Rio Blanco. Big gangs are there doing drug dealing, stealing, and carjacking. They often shoot at each other, and sometimes they just shoot at anyone passing by just for fun. 12. Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. Imagine a city where the fear of violence looms. Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, is such a place known for its high crime rates and deadly conflicts. Situated on the border with Texas, it's a city caught in the crossfire of drug cartels' battles. The Sinaloa and Juarez cartels fight over territory, leading to a terrifying reality for the residents. Once a bustling hub for nightlife, the city's tourism has plummeted, leaving behind economic struggles and increased crime. In 2022, the homicide rate soared to 103 murders per 100,000 people, painting a grim picture of the dangers within this urban area. 13. Renacimiento, Acapulco, Mexico. Once a glamorous beach destination, Acapulco's Renacimiento area now paints a starkly different picture. Why has Acapulco become so dangerous? Renacimiento, a district in Acapulco, Mexico, is notorious for its high crime rate. The streets, once bustling with life, now lie deserted at night, with the silence broken only by the sound of gunfire. The area is marked by signs of neglect and violence, shattered windows, graffiti-covered walls, and a palpable sense of fear. This decline is attributed to the presence of powerful criminal groups that have taken over, turning Renacimiento into a battleground for drug traffickers and bandits. The police force, overwhelmed and outmatched, struggles to combat the rampant crime. Despite occasional successes in apprehending gang leaders, many criminals remain beyond their reach. 14. Cape Flats, South Africa. Cape Flats in South Africa is a place where danger lurks at every corner. But how dangerous is Cape Flats? Cape Flats is known as one of the most perilous areas in the world. Here, normal life is overshadowed by constant fear due to rampant drug use, theft, and murder. From a young age, residents are exposed to extreme violence and cruelty, often leading to a life entangled with crime. The situation worsened when a former police officer provided local gangs with firearms, sparking the rise of new and more dangerous gangs. The most notorious gangs, such as the Americans, Hard Livings, and JFK, engage in illegal activities like drug trafficking, extortion, and violent crimes. Their actions are so brutal that police patrols require military support to maintain order. Despite the South African government's efforts to implement social programs to combat crime, the situation remains dire. The crime rate continues to climb, with tragic events such as mass shootings becoming all too common. 15. Catia, Caracas, Venezuela. In the shadow of Caracas's beauty, the Catia district tells a different story. What makes Catia so dangerous? Catia, a district in the western part of Caracas, Venezuela, is a place where danger is a daily reality. The contrast is shocking. Some people drive armored cars for safety, while others search through garbage for food. Controlled by ruthless criminal gangs, Catia is a lawless land where violence is common and compassion is rare. These gangs are involved in various crimes to make money, often resorting to murder. The crime rate in Caracas is alarmingly high, with more than 55 murders per 100,000 people each year. This grim statistic has earned Venezuela's capital the reputation of being one of the most dangerous cities globally. Growing up in such an environment has devastating effects on children. Surrounded by murder, immorality, and drug trafficking, they often become desensitized to violence. Many teenagers in Catia eventually join gangs, perpetuating the cycle of crime that the police and authorities seem unable to break. 16. Caracas. Caracas, a city once full of life, now faces a grim reality. Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, is known as one of the most dangerous cities on Earth. With at least 120 murders per 100,000 people each year, the city's crime rate is alarmingly high. Since the death of former President Hugo Chavez, violence has surged. In the past 8 years, murders have increased by over 50% and kidnappings by 120%. The police force, already stretched thin, has seen cuts due to budget constraints, leaving them unable to effectively fight crime. In Caracas, joining a gang has become a trend among teenagers who often see it as a status symbol rather than pursuing education. This has led to very young individuals, barely in their 20s, leading these criminal groups. The Petare district, in particular, is notorious for its lawlessness. Here, violence is rampant, with constant shootouts, stabbings, and thefts. The situation is so dire that survival seems impossible, and the cycle of violence continues unabated. 17. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis is famous for its rich musical heritage and delicious barbecue. But why is violence a problem in Memphis? In Memphis, Tennessee, the sound of music is often drowned out by the sound of violence. The city, known for its cultural and culinary delights, faces a serious challenge with violent crime. This issue is particularly severe in lower-income areas where gangs are common and police resources are stretched thin. In 2022, the city's homicide rate was 51 per 100,000 people, highlighting the extent of the problem. The violence in Memphis is not just a number, it affects real people and communities. Efforts to address this issue must consider the complex social and economic factors at play. 18. Trenchtown. Once a beacon of musical innovation, Trenchtown's transformation raises a critical question. Will Trenchtown ever reclaim its former glory? Trenchtown, a neighborhood in Kingston, Jamaica, is steeped in a rich musical heritage. It was here that Bob Marley, the iconic reggae artist, found inspiration for his music, including a song named after the area itself. In the 1960s, Trenchtown was a vibrant hub of creativity, earning the nickname Hollywood of Jamaica due to its thriving reggae and rocksteady scene. However, the passage of time saw Trenchtown descend from a cradle of culture to a hotbed of crime. Government reforms in the 1970s shifted the area's reputation from one of artistic talent to one marked by violence and danger. By 2019, Kingston, with Trenchtown at its core, was listed among the world's most dangerous cities. Efforts to curb the violence, such as imposing curfews, have been met with limited success. Clashes between rival factions continue to claim innocent lives, with a notable incident in June 2021, where a drive-by shooting resulted in the deaths of 2 residents. 19. Fortaleza. Fortaleza, a city known for its stunning beaches, faces a harsh reality behind the scenes. Fortaleza, a coastal city in Brazil, is famous for its beautiful beaches and vibrant culture. However, it also has a dark side. The city suffers from high levels of poverty, police corruption, and gang violence. These issues contribute to a significant crime rate, with 62 homicides per 100,000 residents. This rate is alarmingly high compared to many other cities around the world. Is Fortaleza safe for tourists and residents? See, the contrast between the tourist areas and the city's slums is stark. While tourists can generally enjoy a safe experience in the beachfront zones, the slums of Fortaleza are plagued by violence. Gangs are the main cause of the high homicide rate, and their activities often affect innocent people living in these areas. The local government and police have been struggling to control the situation, but the challenges are immense. Efforts to improve safety and reduce crime have had limited success. The disparity between the rich and the poor only exacerbates the problem, as does the corruption within the police force. 20. Irapuato, Mexico. Irapuato's streets tell a tale of industry overshadowed by violence. In the heart of Mexico, Irapuato stands as a city of contrasts. Known for its role in the automotive industry, it's a place where business thrives. Yet, beneath this industrial success lies a grim reality. Irapuato is also a battleground for drug cartels. But how dangerous is Irapuato to its citizens? In 2022, the city saw a staggering 95 homicides per 100,000 people. This rate of violence is one of the highest, making daily life for its nearly 500,000 residents perilous. The violence often erupts without warning, with bars and restaurants becoming stages for random mass shootings. From the sun-kissed beaches of Fortaleza to the bustling streets of Feira de Santana, these are the top 20 most dangerous cities on Earth. So before going there for your future vacations, make sure to think again. And if your mind still convinces you to go there, then watch this video again.